And the Premier of Saskatchewan, Scott Moe, is with me now in our studio. Premier, good to see you.
Good to
Thanks
see you,
for
Peter.
stopping by to talk to me today.
My pleasure.
I know you're not happy. That was made clear by your comments today after meeting with the Prime Minister. But let me start with what your expectations were in coming to Ottawa. What did you hope would happen? What did you expect to happen in this conversation with Justin Trudeau today?
My expectations were is that the Prime Minister would look to collaborate with the province on some issues that are important to the people of the province. And that comes from his words on the evening of the election, when he had indicated that he understands the frustration of the people in Saskatchewan and he's looking to support them. So we had provided a framework on how we could work together to support the economy and the hardworking folks that we both represent in Saskatchewan.
So let me drill down on, because you had sort of three asks around
Right.
the carbon tax, around equalization, and around pipelines. So let me start with the carbon tax question. I guess I want to, you asked for a one-year hold on the federal carbon tax backstop, and so you could make the Saskatchewan case again. They could re-examine your climate plans in Saskatchewan. So I'm curious to know, how exactly did he respond to that? How clear was he? Did he reject it outright? What did he say?
No, he wasn't interested in pausing the federally imposed carbon backstop, and he indicated that he needs to be fair across the nation, of which is somewhat ironic because the equalization formula most certainly is not fair to all provinces across the nation. But nevertheless, with respect to carbon taxation, the taxation policy is not the goal. The goal has always been the emissions reductions and the climate change plan that we committed to in the Paris Accord. Well, Saskatchewan wants to partake in reducing our emissions and enhancing our sequestration and really addressing this global conversation around climate change and adding to our ability to meet those Paris Accord commitments. We're not interested, however, in an ineffective tax on the people of our province that really will drive investment out of the province and drive jobs out of the province.
So what about the response that, look, we saw the election night results. So, the vast majority of voters voted for parties that support some kind of carbon pricing, carbon tax. What about that?
Well, the carbon tax was not the ballot question, quite frankly. And by those same metrics, the vast majority of voters did not vote for this Prime Minister. By those same metrics, when you drill down into Saskatchewan, the vast majority of voters didn't vote for anything near a carbon tax, and that's the people that ultimately I represent. So, here we have an opportunity, what I hope to be an opportunity for the province and the Prime Minister to move forward. Now, there was a couple of points where we do have an opportunity to move along. One is on with respect to removing the ineffective tax from a very specific area where our province is being affected in drying our grain this fall. We had a very wet, ultimately now a snowy harvest, and there may be an opportunity to remove some of the carbon tax on our drying costs. And two,
so he was open to that?
Open to the conversation.
Okay.
We'll see where that goes. It'll be a decision he can make. And number two was a Bill C-69 has not been put into law as of yet, and he did provide an opportunity, a window of opportunity for the province to once again provide and submit some of our submissions with respect to making that bill workable. Because TMX, although we appreciate that the construction of TMX is ongoing, it can't be the last project. It cannot be the last project.
Right, you didn't come today saying, let's get TMX built, that's part of it, but you want other pipelines.
We need a regulatory process so not only other pipelines can be built, but so that we can work together to ensure that the products that, for example, Saskatchewan exports, agri-food products, potash, energy, yes, can all get to markets around the world. We deal as a small province, but we deal with over 150 countries each and every year, and we need to get those products to market.
What's the problem with equalization?
The problem with equalization is just inherently unfair. Over the course of the last 5 years, three provinces with the lowest growth in GDP, Newfoundland, Saskatchewan, Alberta, all contributing provinces to equalization, all look like they'll be contributing into the foreseeable future. We need a program that, yes, is predictable, but when you combine it with the fiscal stabilization program, it needs to be much more reactive for provinces that are being challenged like ours.
And what was the Prime Minister's response to that?
Is
not interested, or saying, look, give me some time to look at it, or no?
He sees it as a zero-sum game where it's not. The conversation just simply isn't there unless you have agreement across all of the provinces in the nation. Well, it's a federal policy. It's on the federal government to work on this particular policy.
You think he should lead a conversation to change it, to amend it, if that's what's required? It's not up to others but him to bring people on side?
Right. When you have a program that is inherently unfair to a number of provinces in the nation, it should be on the federal leader to address that. And listen, this is part of the frustration that he spoke to on election night that is occurring in Saskatchewan, the frustration of not being able to grow our economy because of policies that are coming from the federal government, thereby always still being required to contribute financially to the nation. That's the frustration that is happening.
So are you left returning to Saskatchewan now with what message? That things will get worse, that this feeling of anger and alienation in the West is not about to get better? Is that?
Well, I hope the feelings are not I hope they're being taken seriously here within the halls of our federal government. I sincerely do, because the frustration is real, and the Prime Minister had indicated he knew as much on the election night as his words said he understood the frustration. What I'll return to is just a renewed effort with respect to taking our carbon taxation court case to the Supreme Court of Canada. We are going to start to look for opportunities and act on some existing opportunities to enhance our provincial autonomy, if you will.
What does that mean?
Well, we're going to look at expanding our footprint into our foreign markets. As I said, we are an exporting-based province. Our relationships matter all around the world, and we're going to look for opportunities to expand Saskatchewan's relationship.
But wouldn't you be doing that anyway, whether you had a good relationship with the feds or not?
Some of that we're going to do some more, as well as we're going to be looking in the near future at some other opportunities that we will have to ensure that we're taking care of Saskatchewan's interests. What
do you feel? You talk about the anger and the feeling of alienation. Did you get any sense from the Prime Minister, if it's not taking you up on the proposals you brought to town today, did you get a sense that he has a plan of his own about how he's going to deal with issues of representation in Saskatchewan and Alberta and these feelings of alienation?
You know, what I found concerning is what I got the sense of is this is going to be more of the same. With respect to representation in cabinet, listen, who serves in cabinet is the choice of the Prime Minister, and those are his choices, and he will make them. What I'm concerned with is what the actions of that cabinet will ultimately do. As far as engagement and representation of the people of the province of Saskatchewan, I'm the Premier, and I can assure them that I will most certainly continue to represent them with this Prime Minister, this federal government. There's 14 MPs that were elected as well on election evening. One of them is the leader of the opposition, one of the 14 MPs coming from Saskatchewan. And I trust when the Prime Minister is looking for input on behalf of the duly elected people of the province, that he will engage with those MPs as well. That is the people's choice. The Premier is the people's choice. Who goes into cabinet? That's the Prime Minister's choice. Well,
let's finish on this. And of course he met with Andrew Scheer today as well, but there's the suggestion in some quarters that by coming to town and making that, let me frame it this way, that there are suggestions, Scott Moe is contributing to the divisions in the country, not helping solve the divisions in the country by coming in and accusing the Prime Minister of doing more of the same, failing to listen to the concerns of Saskatchewan. How do you respond to that you could be more of a nation builder? That's the allegation.
Right. No, let me be very clear. I have always been a Canadian first and foremost. I represent the people of the province of Saskatchewan. The divisions that we are feeling in the province, and that many people that I represent in communities right across the province are feeling, are due to policies that have been put forward over the course of the last 4 years by this Prime Minister and this federal government. Policies like Bill C-69, C-48, the West Coast tanker ban bill, the carbon taxation policy. These are the divisive policies that created and manifested themselves in the results that we saw on election night. I've asked for the Prime Minister to consider a new direction, a more collaborative direction. I was here in good faith to embark on that direction, of which there was very little given.
All right. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe, always good to talk to you. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Peter.